The wind hums softly, brushing the peaks of Mount Olympus with a whisper of change. Above the clouds, lightning coils like a living serpent, restless and alive in the endless sky. The gods watch in silence, their thrones bathed in golden light and ancient power. But even in their immortal hearts, there is an unease they cannot name or banish. Something stirs beyond the veil of time, a force older than thunder, deeper than fire. It is the Stormfire, the pulse of creation itself, bound once by Zeus's will alone. Now it trembles, seeking a new bearer, a new hand to guide its untamed strength. Far below, in a world of stone streets and mortal dreams, a young man looks to the stars. His name is Lyron, a scholar with a curious mind and a soul drawn to storms. He does not yet know his path will cross with gods or shape the fate of worlds, but destiny moves quietly, like thunder before the strike, waiting to be heard. This is the story of how a mortal heart met divine power and changed the heavens. This is times the Stormfire of Zeus, times a tale of courage, balance, and the light within chaos. The sky above Olympus breathes with ancient power, shifting in colors of gold, violet, and deep blue. Clouds curl and stretch like living beings, weaving patterns that only the gods can read and understand. A soft rumble echoes beyond the horizon. Not thunder yet, but a warning carried on the wind. Zeus stands at the edge of his throne, eyes narrowed, gazing into the distance with quiet intensity. For centuries, he has ruled the heavens with thunder in his hands and law in his voice. But now, something feels different, heavier, as if the very fabric of the cosmos is holding its breath. He lifts his palm, and lightning dances between his fingers, restless and uncertain, like a caged flame. It is a sign he cannot ignore. The balance of the skies is shifting, and not even he knows why. Far below, the mortal world continues in its endless rhythm. Markets hum, rivers sing, and stars bloom. The people worship, pray, and build their stories, unaware that the heavens above them stir in unease. Zeus hears their prayers, their pleas for rain, for mercy, for love, for strength. But beneath their words, he senses a tremor, a faint vibration that echoes through the bones of the world. It is subtle, almost invisible, but it is there, growing stronger with each passing breath of the wind. He calls upon the winds, ancient messengers older than Olympus itself, to listen and bring him whispers. They swirl around his throne, weaving songs of change, of something forgotten now awakening again. Their voices speak not in words, but in feelings, longing, hunger, and an endless, fiery pulse. Zeus closes his eyes, and for a moment, he remembers a time before thrones, before crowns. A time when Stormfire was born, a primal force that danced in the void before light and darkness split apart. Stormfire is more than thunder or flame. It is the heartbeat of creation, the spark in every breath of life. Zeus once bound it, shaped it, guided it, so the world could grow without falling into chaos. Yet now, that same force trembles, as if seeking freedom, as if yearning for a new shape, a new destiny. The thunder in his hands feels heavier, wilder, as though it remembers something Zeus has forgotten. And in the corners of Olympus, whispers rise among the gods, whispers of prophecy and change. Hera watches Zeus silently, sensing the storm in his soul before he speaks a single word. Athena steps forward, her eyes clear as moonlight, and asks what stirs beyond the veil of the known. But Zeus gives no answer. Not yet, for he does not wish to name a thing he does not yet understand. Instead, he turns his gaze eastward, where the stars seem to flicker faster as if carrying a hidden message. The constellations shift, forming patterns unseen for 1,000 years, guiding his thoughts toward destiny. In the mortal realm, storms begin to form without cause, gathering strength from nowhere and everywhere. Seas swell and recede with strange rhythms, and fire leaps higher in temple torches without fuel. The signs are clear to those who watch the world closely. Something ancient is awakening, and though the mortals cannot name it, their hearts feel it. Their dreams twist with strange visions. Children speak of lightning that sings, of flames that whisper secrets in the dark. Back in Olympus, Zeus summons the council of the gods, to speak of what must come next. Some argue it is nothing, a passing ripple in the endless ocean of time. Others, older and wiser, know better. They have felt this pulse before, long before mortals walked the earth. Zeus listens, but his decision is already forming like a storm behind the mountains. If Stormfire is stirring, then the balance of the universe itself may soon be tested. And though he is king of the skies, Zeus knows this truth. Not even a god can face this storm alone. The wind howls louder now, and lightning claws at the edges of the clouds like a beast eager to run free. The first chapter of a greater tale has begun, written not in ink but in thunder and light. Soon, a choice will be made that will shape the fates of gods and mortals alike. And far away, beneath the same restless sky, a young man named Lyron looks up and feels the pull of destiny. The night falls gently over Olympus, painting the heavens in silver and indigo as stars flicker awake. Yet beneath this calm sky, a question lingers, a prophecy long forgotten now, stirs in whispers once more. It is spoken not by mortal lips, but by the eternal voice of the fates. Woven into the threads of destiny, their loom hums softly, spinning patterns unseen, hinting that the age of Stormfire is near its turn again. In the Temple of Echoes, hidden deep within the mountain's heart, the oracle awakens from sacred slumber. Her breath is steady, her eyes distant, as if she sees 1,000 tomorrows unfolding at once. The priests gather in silence, their torches flickering like anxious thoughts in the cool, still air. One by one, the sacred bells ring the sign that a new prophecy is ready to enter the world. The oracle speaks, her voice a song and a storm, trembling with the weight of things yet to come. When storm and fire entwine, the pillars of the sky shall tremble beneath their own weight. When the bearer is neither god nor titan, but mortal born, the balance shall seek a new vessel. And through the courage of a heart unchained, the eternal blaze will either heal or consume all. The words ripple through Olympus like thunder rolling across an endless valley. Some gods dismiss them as riddles, remnants of old fears and forgotten tales. But others feel their truth like a blade against the soul, sharp, undeniable, impossible to ignore. Athena is among them, her keen mind already weaving possibilities from each cryptic line. She seeks out Zeus in his chamber, finding him deep in thought, thunder dancing faintly in his palm. The prophecy speaks again, she says softly, her voice steady though her heart is heavy. Zeus nods, for he has felt its stirrings too, deep within the pulse of the storm itself. It speaks of a mortal, he murmurs, the word itself both strange and significant to a king of gods. Mortals are fleeting, fragile, born to fade, and yet they hold a power no god can fully understand. It is the power of choice, of change, of a will unbound by the weight of eternity. If the prophecy is true, then the fate of Stormfire may rest in the hands of one such soul. And that thought both humbles and unsettles Zeus in equal measure, for destiny now moves beyond Olympus. The news spreads quickly, carried by wind spirits, whispered in temples, sung by the rivers themselves. Every god, every nymph, every celestial being feels the shift, the tightening of the cosmic weave. Even the stars seem to watch more closely, their light sharper, their silence more deliberate. A decision must be made to guide the prophecy, to fight it, or to let it unfold as it will. In the mortal world, subtle changes ripple through the fabric of ordinary life. Dreamers wake with visions of storms in their veins and fire behind their eyes. Children speak strange truths they cannot understand, naming things no mortal should know. And always, in the distance, the skies glow faintly, as if watching the earth with divine intent. Among the gods, debate grows heated as each voice offers its truth about what must be done. Poseidon warns of chaos if mortals meddle in divine affairs, while Hermes argues for trust and curiosity. Hera fears betrayal, a path where humans rise beyond their place and bring ruin to the heavens. But Athena speaks clearly. It is not about power, it is about balance. Stormfire must be guided. Zeus listens, his silence commanding more attention than thunder ever could. He knows that destiny cannot be caged, only understood and met with strength and wisdom. If a mortal must rise, then Olympus must prepare not to stop them, but to help them find the way. And so, the search begins, though none yet know where the Chosen One walks or what trials await them. The prophecy now lives in every breath of wind and every spark of lightning across the sky. It hums beneath the surface of the world, calling not just to gods, but to the heart of humanity. And far below, in a quiet village by the sea, a young scholar named Lyron dreams of thunder. He does not know it yet, but the storm has already spoken his name into the fabric of fate. The path is set, and the age of Stormfire has begun to turn, guided by the hands of prophecy. In a small village by the edge of the Aegean Sea, life moves with gentle rhythm and quiet purpose. Waves kiss the shore in timeless motion, carrying secrets from distant lands across endless blue. Children chase the wind between olive trees, their laughter echoing through the sunlit hills. Fishermen mend their nets. Storytellers speak of gods and heroes, and the world seems at peace. Among these simple lives walks Lyron, a young scholar with eyes that always search the skies. He spends his days among scrolls and stars, seeking meaning in patterns written above. While others dream of trade or war, Lyron dreams of storms not of destruction, but of wonder. He believes that thunder speaks, that lightning writes messages too vast for human tongues. At night, he climbs the cliffs to watch the heavens, his thoughts drifting far beyond his village. There, under the endless tapestry of constellations, he feels both small and infinite at once. Sometimes he imagines the gods looking back at him, their gaze curious, patient, perhaps even kind. And sometimes, when the wind changes and the clouds glow faintly, he swears they whisper his name. Lyron's fascination began in childhood, when a storm unlike any other swept across the land. The sky had burned gold and violet, and lightning had danced not with fury, but with elegant purpose. It was then he felt a pull, a silent calling from something vast and ancient, beyond mortal reach. He did not understand it, but it settled deep within him, shaping every dream and choice that followed. The villagers call him the Storm Watcher, half in jest, half in awe, for his heart belongs to the sky. Though he helps in the library and teaches children to read the stars, his soul longs for something more. He senses a destiny beyond the horizon, though he cannot name it, nor does he try to. Some part of him knows that when the time is right, the sky itself will call him into its story. One evening, as the sun sinks behind the sea, a strange stillness falls upon the village. The wind stops, the birds grow silent, even the waves seem to pause, as if listening for something. Lyron feels it too, a weight in the air, a pulse beneath the earth, subtle but undeniable. And then, with no warning, the heavens open, and a single bolt of lightning strikes the hilltop above. He runs toward it without hesitation, his heart racing not with fear but with fierce curiosity. When he reaches the spot, the earth is untouched, no scorch, no smoke, only a faint, glowing mark. It pulses like a heartbeat, humming softly, and as he steps closer, it flares with brilliant light. Symbols appear before his eyes, ancient and unfamiliar, yet somehow he understands their meaning. The mark speaks not in words, but in feelings, calling, summoning, recognizing. Lyron feels warmth in his chest, a surge of energy that feels both foreign and deeply familiar. He reaches out, and as his fingers brush the glow, a wave of visions floods his mind. He sees Olympus, cloaked in stormlight. He sees fire wrapped in thunder. He sees a door opening. When the vision fades, he is on his knees, breathless, his hands trembling, but his spirit calm. The sky above is silent once more, but he knows something has changed, something irreversible. The mark remains faintly glowing, etched into the rock as if carved by the will of the cosmos itself. And in his heart, Lyron knows this was no accident. The storm has chosen him for a reason. That night, sleep does not come. He lies awake beneath the stars, replaying every detail again and again. Questions swirl in his mind, but one truth shines clearer than all the rest. His journey is about to begin. The life he has known, the quiet days of study and wonder, will soon be left behind. And somewhere beyond the clouds, a destiny written in thunder is waiting for him to claim it. Lyron does not yet know the road ahead or the trials he will face before the gods themselves. But as dawn breaks and the first light touches the mark on the hill, he feels no fear. For the first time, the storm inside him and the one above the world beat as one. And in that shared rhythm, the spark of legend is born, the mortal chosen by the Stormfire itself. The days that follow the lightning's mark feel strange to Lyron, as though the world itself is holding its breath. The sky seems brighter, the winds more alive, and every storm cloud that forms feels like an invitation. He tries to return to his old routines, teaching, reading, watching the tides, but something has shifted. The mark on the hill still glows faintly at night, a reminder that his life no longer belongs only to himself. One evening, as the village sleeps beneath a crescent moon, Lyron hears a whisper calling his name. It is not a voice in the wind or a dream. It is real, echoing softly from beyond his door. He steps outside, and there, under the silver light, stands a figure cloaked in feathers and shadow. The stranger smiles with a spark of mischief and purpose in his eyes. Hermes, messenger of the gods. Lyron, the god says. His voice smooth as the wind that carries secrets across the sea. The time has come to leave this place. Zeus has summoned you to Olympus. Lyron's heart pounds. The stories he grew up hearing now stand before him, living and breathing. I am no hero, he says, but Hermes only laughs. The storm chooses not by strength, but by heart. Without another word, the messenger touches Lyron's shoulder, and the world dissolves around them. The village, the sea, the earth itself vanish in a breath, replaced by clouds and endless sky. Lyron feels weightless, suspended between heaven and earth, his soul soaring with the wind. And then Olympus appears, a city of gold and marble, floating upon the breath of eternity. The sight takes his breath away. Towers pierce the heavens, rivers of light flow through radiant streets. Music hums in the air, and every breeze carries the scent of lightning and blooming ambrosia. But more than beauty, there is power here, a pulse that hums in the stones and stars alike. Lyron senses it all around him, the heartbeat of creation itself, strong and ancient beyond measure. Hermes guides him through the shining gates, where divine eyes turn to meet the mortal below. Some gaze with curiosity, some with skepticism, and a few with quiet, measured respect. It is rare for a mortal to walk here, rarer still for one to be summoned by the king of gods himself. Yet Lyron walks forward, each step guided by a strange calm rising from deep within his chest. At the heart of Olympus stands the Hall of Storms, its columns carved with stories of ages past. Thunder rumbles softly above, and the air tastes of rain and distant fire. Hermes leads him inside and bows, leaving Lyron alone before the throne of Zeus. The god of sky and storm rises slowly, his presence vast and commanding, yet not without warmth. Lyron, Zeus says, his voice like distant thunder rolling across the mountains. You have felt the call. The mark upon the hill was no accident. It was my summons. Lyron bows his head, unsure how to speak before the king of Olympus. I am just a scholar, he whispers. I do not know why I am here. Zeus steps closer, his gaze piercing yet not unkind. Because the storm chose you, and so did destiny. He gestures to the hall around them, its walls flickering with the memory of lightning. Stormfire is stirring. Its power cannot be contained by gods alone. It seeks a mortal's heart. Lyron's breath catches. Why me? He asks. There must be many stronger, wiser, more worthy. Because strength is not what Stormfire craves, Zeus replies, his eyes glowing like the heart of a storm. It seeks balance. It seeks courage that is not born of power, but of choice. Zeus extends his hand, and a spark leaps between them, wild, alive, and impossibly ancient. It hovers above Lyron's palm for a heartbeat before sinking into his skin, leaving a faint glow behind. The hall grows silent. Lyron feels warmth surge through his veins, not painful, but deeply alive. This is the first gift, Zeus says, a fragment of the storm, a bond between mortal and divine. With it, you will walk a path. Few have walked one that will test your soul and shape your destiny. Lyron nods slowly, his doubts still present, but his resolve growing stronger with every breath. Outside, thunder rolls across Olympus, as if the heavens themselves approve of what has begun. Lyron looks up at the endless sky, no longer just a dreamer, but a chosen bearer of a greater purpose. The journey ahead is unknown, but one truth burns bright within him: he will not turn back now. The storm has called, and he will answer, wherever the path may lead beyond this sacred mountain. Lyron wakes the next morning in a chamber bathed in golden light, the air alive with the scent of rain and fire. The memory of Zeus's words echoes in his mind, heavy with meaning and yet strangely comforting. He touches his chest where the spark entered him, and the faint warmth still lingers beneath his skin. Something has changed forever, not just his destiny, but the way the world feels beneath his feet. Hermes greets him at the door with a grin. "Welcome, chosen one. Olympus has much to show you." They walk through halls of living stone and gardens where clouds bloom into flowers of silver and gold. Everywhere they go, gods and spirits pause to look at Lyron, some curious, some doubtful, some impressed. The weight of their eyes should crush him, but instead it steels his resolve. He is here for a reason. Their steps lead to a courtyard where a gentle storm drifts in a crystal dome above a circular arena. "This," Hermes says, "is where your training begins. The spark is alive, but it must be shaped." Lyron nods, though nerves coil within him. "I've never held power before," he admits. "Only books." Hermes chuckles. "Then think of this as reading a new language, one written by the sky itself." A figure approaches, tall, radiant, with eyes like rolling clouds and a presence that commands respect. "This is Ayala," Hermes says, "guardian of Stormfire. She will guide you where words cannot." Ayala bows slightly. "The storm within you is raw. To wield it, you must learn its rhythm and breath." Her voice is calm but carries authority, like distant thunder warning of rain before the first drop falls. The training is not what Lyron expects. There are no battles, no weapons, no tests of strength. Instead, Ayala teaches him to listen, to feel the pulse of lightning, the whisper of shifting winds. "Power is not about control," she says. "It is about harmony. You must move with the storm, not against it." Lyron closes his eyes and breathes deeply, feeling the world's heartbeat sync with his own. Days become weeks, and each lesson draws him deeper into the nature of Stormfire. He learns to summon sparks with a thought, to call winds with a gesture, to still the air with silence. Sometimes the power surges wildly, leaping beyond his will, but Ayala never scolds, only reminds him to trust. "The storm knows your heart," she says. "If you doubt yourself, it will doubt you too." One evening, during meditation beneath the storm dome, something extraordinary happens. The spark within him stirs not as a flicker, but as a living flame, weaving patterns through his veins. Images flood his mind, ancient battles, divine counsels, and a swirling force deeper than time itself. And in the heart of that vision, he sees a figure cloaked in shadow and light, watching him silently. He gasps, and the vision fades, leaving him breathless and trembling. "What was that?" he asks. Ella's gaze hardens. "You have glimpsed the Stormfire's memory, and perhaps its future." Lyron's heart pounds. "The figure, it felt familiar, as if it was waiting for me." "Then your journey is closer to its turning point than I thought," she replies, eyes distant with thought. Hermes visits that night, bringing food and news from the world below. "Storms are growing stronger," he says. "Strange patterns in the skies. Even the gods are uneasy." Lyron listens, a quiet certainty forming within him. The storm's awakening is no coincidence. It calls to him for a reason, not just to wield its power, but to confront something yet unseen. Weeks later, Zeus summons him again, this time to the high observatory above Olympus's clouds. Below them, lightning weaves across the horizon like threads of fate stitching a tapestry together. "Do you feel it?" Zeus asks. The balance shifting. The storm knows. Change is near. Lyron nods slowly. I feel it in my bones, as if something vast is waiting just beyond the veil. Zeus's gaze pierces the distance, his expression grave yet proud. Your path is unfolding, Lyron. What lies ahead will test every lesson you've learned and reveal truths you are not yet ready to see. Lyron breathes deeply, the weight of destiny pressing against his chest like the air before a storm. But for the first time, he does not fear it. The storm within and the one beyond move as one. As the winds rise and thunder hums softly around them, Lyron closes his eyes and smiles. The journey is only beginning, but the spark of purpose burns brighter than ever. And far beyond Olympus, something stirs, watching, waiting, ready to meet the storm head-on. The bearer of Stormfire is no longer a scholar lost in the clouds. He is becoming part of the storm itself. The first true test of Lyron's bond with the Stormfire arrives on a night when Olympus itself seems uneasy. Clouds swirl with restless energy above the mountain, and even the air tastes charged, like a storm unspoken. Zeus summons him to the Hall of Echoes, where the gods gather in silence, their faces grave and watchful. Something ancient has stirred, not an enemy, not yet, but a presence that bends the balance of the skies. Stormfire is awakening beyond Olympus, Zeus says, his voice resonating like distant thunder. A rift has opened at the edge of the mortal realm, where wind and flame do not obey the natural order. Hermes unfurls a map woven from starlight, and Lyron sees it a storm unlike any other. Swirling in dark, it grows stronger by the hour, Athena warns. If unchecked, it could consume both mortal and divine realms. Lyron listens, the weight of the storm pressing against his chest as if urging him forward. What must I do? He asks, his voice steady despite the fire racing beneath his skin. Zeus steps closer, his gaze deep and searching. You must go. This storm calls to the one who carries its heart. A hush falls over the hall. A mortal, sent alone into a storm, even gods dare not face it, is unheard of. But Lyron does not hesitate. If this is why I was chosen, then I will go. Zeus nods solemnly. You will not go alone. Hermes will guide you, and Aella will stand at your side. The three set out at dawn, descending from Olympus on wings of wind, the mortal world stretching below. The journey is long and perilous, through skies heavy with strange energy and lands scarred by shifting weather. Villages lie in ruin where rain never stops falling. Rivers boil where lightning touches earth without reason. Lyron feels the pull of the rift long before they see it, a heartbeat, deep and slow, echoing inside his chest. When they finally reach the edge of the storm, even the gods pause, awed by its sheer, impossible power. It is a cyclone of light and shadow, a living storm that breathes and hungers, twisting reality around its core. This is not natural, Aella murmurs. Something or someone has awoken this force. Lyron steps forward, his heartbeat syncing with the storm's rhythm, his breath matching its pulse. The spark within him flares, drawn to the tempest like a tide to the moon. He hears whispers in the wind, fragments of voices, memories not his own, and a single word repeated. Return. What does it want? Hermes asks, scanning the swirling chaos. Balance, Lyron whispers. It wants to return to something it has lost. With each step he takes closer, the storm grows calmer, its rage dimming, its shape shifting into something graceful. It is as if it recognizes him not as a threat, but as a part of itself that had been missing all along. Ella calls out, Careful, Lyron! Too close, and it may take you with it. But he does not stop. Every lesson, every whisper of power he has learned now, guides his movements. He raises his hand and lets the stormfire flow freely, not to command, but to join. The cyclone roars, then softens, tendrils of wind wrapping gently around him like a welcome embrace. Visions flood his mind again, this time clearer, deeper. He sees the birth of the storm at the dawn of time. He sees its bond with Zeus, how it shaped oceans, forged mountains, and breathed life into the skies. And he sees its sorrow, a fragment torn away, cast adrift, searching for the one who could reunite it. Tears sting his eyes as he realizes the truth. This storm is not an enemy. It is a piece of Stormfire itself. When he opens his eyes, the cyclone has shrunk into a glowing sphere, swirling gently above his palm. The land is still again. The skies quiet. The balance restored for now. Hermes exhales in awe. You did it. You calmed what even the gods could not touch. Lyron smiles faintly, though his heart is heavy with a new understanding. No, it calmed itself through me. As they return to Olympus, the gods greet them not with celebration, but with thoughtful silence. Zeus meets Lyron's gaze and nods once a silent acknowledgement of something greater than victory. You are more than a bearer now, he says. You are part of the storm's soul. Lyron bows his head, feeling both humbled and changed, knowing the path ahead will only grow more uncertain. The rift is sealed, the storm soothed, but a question lingers in the air like distant thunder. If a fragment of Stormfire has returned, how many more still wander untamed across the world? Lyron does not know the answer, but one truth burns within him: his journey is far from over. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the next storm is already rising, waiting for the one it now calls its own. The days following the storm's calming pass quietly, yet Lyron feels no peace within himself. The fragment he absorbed hums softly under his skin, a pulse older and wiser than anything mortal. It whispers sometimes in dreams, not in words, but in visions of skies he has never seen. Oceans that float above mountains, cities carved from clouds, beings of light that walk without form. Each night the visions grow stronger, guiding him towards something just beyond the edge of thought. Zeus summons him again, this time not in grandeur but in private, deep within the halls of memory. There is something you must know, the god says, his gaze steady and filled with ancient weight. The Stormfire is not a single force. It was once many scattered across realms when creation was young. Lyron listens, the pulse in his chest growing brighter with every word. What I touched, he whispers, was only a part of it. Zeus nods slowly. And now that part has awakened. Others may follow. Some will seek harmony, others dominance. The words sink deep, heavier than any prophecy. Lyron understands the storm was never just a gift. It is a calling, a path that demands courage, wisdom, and sacrifice, far beyond his imagining. Hermes bursts into the chamber before more can be said, his usual grin absent. A message, he says, from the oracle at Delphi. She dreams of storms walking as men. The words send a chill through Lyron's heart. Storms? Walking? She speaks of new vessels, Zeus explains. Others who may rise, touched by fragments like yours. Lyron's thoughts race. Allies, perhaps? Or rivals? Or something stranger still? The next days blur with preparation. Scrolls are studied. Maps of ley lines and celestial flows are consulted. Every clue points to a single place, the Valley of Echoes, where sky and earth meet in perpetual twilight. It is said to be where the first storm touched the world, a sacred place lost to time. And now, the signs point there again, as if the past calls the present to meet it once more. Lyron, Aa, and Hermes depart at dawn, their path winding through forests where stars never fade. The journey is different this time, quieter, more thoughtful. The air feels heavy with expectation. Ella notices it too. This isn't just another test, she says. It feels like something awakening. They reach the valley on the seventh night. It is beautiful and strange, a place where shadows dance with light. The ground hums with power, as if the world itself breathes beneath their feet. At its heart stands a monolith of obsidian and storm glass, etched with sigils older than Olympus. Lyron approaches, the fragment within him thrumming like a heartbeat in unison with the stone. And then a voice, not from above, nor from around, but from within the storm itself. You are not the first. You will not be the last. The monolith cracks with light, and from it steps a figure cloaked in thunderclouds, human in shape, yet not. eyes like distant stars, a presence that bends the air with each breath. "Who are you?" Lyron asks, steadying his voice against the weight of the being before him. "I am Tempestrous," the figure says, "bearer of a fragment, like you." Lyron's pulse quickens. "There are others?" "Many," Tempestrous replies. "Some seek unity. Others believe the storm must reign alone." The words ripple with both promise and danger. "Which side are you on?" Lyron asks carefully. The figure smiles faintly. "Neither kind nor cruel. That depends on which side you stand upon." Aella steps forward, hand hovering near her blade. "If you're here to fight..." Tempestrous raises a hand. "No fight. Not yet. But the convergence is coming. You must choose your path." And with that, the storm-born figure dissolves into mist, leaving only silence in its wake. Lyron stares at the empty air, heart racing with new questions and deeper fears. The storm is not his alone. It never was. And now, destiny has grown larger than he ever dreamed. He looks to the horizon, where thunder whispers of choices yet to come. And he knows the true storm is only just beginning. The days that follow the encounter with Tempestrous weigh heavy on Lyron's mind. The revelation changes everything. He is not unique, not alone, and perhaps not even prepared. The storm within him feels different now, more awake, as if aware of the truth he's only beginning to grasp. Every flash of lightning across the sky reminds him. There are others, and their paths may not align with his. Zeus speaks little on the matter, though his silence speaks volumes. Even the gods fear what comes next. Athena visits him at dawn, her eyes calm but her tone sharp as a blade. Knowledge is now your greatest weapon. She leads him into the Hall of Origins, a library so ancient it predates Olympus itself. There, on scrolls older than memory, Lyron learns of the Convergence, a gathering of fragments destined to clash. It is said that when the scattered pieces of Stormfire awaken, they will either merge into harmony or war. Lyron runs his fingers over faded ink, heart pounding with both wonder and dread. This is bigger than prophecy. It is the story of creation itself, written in thunder and flame. Hermes appears with news from afar. "Another bearer has been sighted near the Sea of Winds." The name stirs old myths, a place where storms rage eternal, and the sky never rests. Without hesitation, Lyron, Aella, and Hermes set out again, the horizon painted in swirling clouds. The journey takes them through lands forgotten by men, where rivers sing and mountains breathe. Yet the deeper they travel, the stranger the world becomes. The air hums with energy, and storms answer to no god. Aella notes the shift. It's as if the world itself is preparing for something. At last, they reach the Sea of Winds, a vast expanse where water and sky merge in endless tempest. Waves rise like towers, winds howl like ancient spirits, and lightning walks the horizon like a living thing. At the center of this chaos, a figure stands atop the waves, untouched by the fury around them. A woman, cloaked in silver storms, her gaze calm, her power unmistakable, another bearer. Lyron approaches slowly, the stormfire within him resonating in recognition. "You feel it too," she says without turning. "The call that binds us." "Yes," Lyron answers. "But I do not know if it binds us together or sets us against one another." She finally faces him. "I am Kaelin. I seek balance, but others will not." Her words carry warning. There are more like her, some awakened, some still sleeping, all with their own purpose. "The convergence will not be gentle," Kaelin says. "It will test every heart that carries the storm." A sudden surge of power ripples through the air, and Kaelin's eyes widen. They are near. Before Lyron can speak, the sky splits with a roar, and two more figures descend from the clouds. Their presence is unmistakable bearers, each cloaked in stormfire, each radiating immense strength. But unlike Kaelin, their energy is wild, chaotic, and filled with something darker. "So," the others gather, one says, his voice sharp as thunder. "Then let us see who is worthy." Aella tenses beside Lyron, but he raises a hand. "No battle, not here, not yet." The second figure laughs, a sound like crackling lightning. There will be no choice soon. The storm chooses its victor. With that, they vanish into the clouds, leaving only the echo of their challenge behind. Kalen's expression is grave. This is only the beginning. The bearers will come together willingly, or not. Lyron feels the truth of it deep in his bones. The storm has set its course, and they are all caught in its pull. As the winds calm and the sea returns to silence, he gazes into the distance, thoughts heavy and uncertain. The convergence will not wait. It will come like a tide, inevitable and unstoppable. And when it does, every choice he makes will shape not just his fate, but the fate of gods and mortals alike. For now, he turns away from the sea, the path ahead clear but shrouded in storm clouds. The stormfire burns brighter within him, no longer just a gift or burden, but a destiny he must learn to command. And in the distant thunder, he hears it again, a promise and a warning, spoken by the storm itself. The storm will rise, and so must you. The journey back from the Sea of Winds is silent, each step heavier than the last. The encounter with Kalen and the other bearers lingers in Lyron's mind like a storm on the horizon. He knows now that the convergence is not a distant myth, it is already in motion. The fragments are awakening, drawn to one another like tides to the moon, and nothing can stop what is coming. Olympus feels different when they return. The skies above the mountain are restless, shifting, alive. Even the gods seem uneasy. Messages arrive from across the realms, storms behaving strangely, weather-defying reason. Hermes speaks of whirlwinds that walk like beasts. Athena tells of lightning that speaks names. The world is preparing itself, bending under the weight of an ancient rhythm. Zeus calls a council, summoning gods, heroes, and oracles alike to the Hall of Thunder. When Lyron enters, all eyes turn to him, mortal and divine, the bearer who stands at the center of fate. "This is the moment we feared," Zeus says, his voice quieter than usual. "The storm will gather. All paths lead to one." Athena unrolls a vast tapestry woven of light and wind. The convergence will occur at the heart of tempest. The name hums in Lyron's bones, familiar yet unknown. "Where is it?" he asks. "In the place where the first storm was born," she answers. "Where sky touched earth and time first breathed. Few have ever ventured there. None have returned. But Lyron knows he must go. It is his destiny." Aella steps forward without hesitation. "Then we go together." Hermes grins, though his eyes betray concern. "Wouldn't miss the end of the world for anything." Preparations begin at once. Weapons are forged, though steel may mean little in a battle of storms. Spells are woven, alliances made. Even gods who once quarreled now stand side by side. The journey will be dangerous, but more dangerous still is what awaits them at the heart of tempest. The day they depart, Olympus is silent. No cheers, no farewells, only the weight of what must be done. The path takes them through forgotten realms, where reality bends and storms whisper secrets in ancient tongues. They cross plains where rain falls upward, mountains that hum with thunder, rivers that glow with stormlight. With every step, the stormfire inside Lyron grows stronger, more volatile, more alive. It feels as though the fragments across the world are calling to one another, converging through him. Aella notices the change. "You're different," she says softly. "It's like the storm is becoming you." "Or I am becoming it," Lyron replies, though he does not know which is true. On the 10th night, they reach the edge of a vast storm, unlike any they have seen before. The sky above is a whirlpool of light and darkness, fire and wind entwined in an endless dance. "This is it," Hermes whispers. "The heart of tempest." At the threshold, figures emerge, bearers from across the world, drawn by the same call. Some are familiar, others are strangers. All radiate power that hums in harmony with Lyron's own. Kalen is among them, her eyes meeting his with a silent nod. Allies? For now. Tempestrous appears as well, watching from a distance. His expression unreadable. And more come 10, 20, perhaps more. Each a vessel of the storm, each a piece of a greater whole. The air crackles as their powers resonate, colliding and merging in unseen patterns. Words are few. There is no need for speeches. Every soul here understands what is about to unfold. This is where it begins, Kalen says quietly. Or where it ends. Lyron feels the truth of it in his bones. The convergence is not a battle to be fought, it is a choice to be made. Will the fragments unite and restore balance? Or will they clash and tear the world apart? The answer lies not in power, but in purpose. And that purpose must be chosen now. He steps forward, the stormfire roaring within him, answering the call that is echoed through eternity. All around, the others do the same, drawn toward the storm's blazing heart. And as the sky splits open and the wind howls like a living god, Lyron understands. The storm is not coming. It is already here, and it has been waiting for them all along. The storm's heart is unlike anything Lyron has ever seen alive. Breathing. Endless. It stretches beyond the sky, beyond time. A whirlpool of creation and destruction entwined as one. Here, the storm is not just weather. It is memory, will, destiny, the pulse of the cosmos itself. Every bearer feels it. Their powers tremble, their souls resonate. The convergence has begun. Lyron steps closer, stormfire rising within him like a second heartbeat. It no longer feels separate. The storm is part of him, and he is part of it, a truth he had always known, yet never understood. Kalen speaks first, her voice steady amid the roar. This is our choice. Unite or let it consume us. Some hesitate, fear clouding their faces. Others close their eyes and embrace the call. The air thickens. Lightning arcs between them, not as a weapon, but as a bridge, weaving power into harmony. Lyron remembers the oracle's words. The storm is not meant to be mastered. It is meant to be shared. He reaches out, extending his hand into the swirling core. The storm answers, wrapping around him gently. It shows him visions not of conquest, but of balance. Sky and earth. Fire and water. Chaos and order. This is not a war. It is a song, ancient and vast, waiting to be sung by many voices as one. He turns to the others. Join me, he says, not as rivals, but as one storm, one purpose. Slowly, one by one, they follow. Hands reach forward, powers intertwine, hearts align. The storm shifts. Its fury softens. Its roar becomes a whisper, a heartbeat shared by many souls. The fragments are merging. The long-forgotten pieces of Zeus's will are becoming whole once more. Yet, in this harmony, a deeper test remains intent. The storm will mirror the hearts of those who shape it. If anger rules them, it will destroy. If greed leads them, it will enslave. But if unity guides them, then it will heal. It will become the bridge between gods and mortals, past and future, chaos and peace. Lyron feels his fears melt away. His anger fades. All that remains is clarity and choice. He chooses balance. He chooses connection. He chooses to become not a master of storms, but a guardian of their flow. The sky erupts in light, not blinding but beautiful, a new dawn woven from thunder and calm. The stormfire within him spreads outward, touching every bearer, every soul gathered at the heart of tempest. It flows into the earth, the sea, the sky, awakening slumbering winds, softening restless waves, clearing the heavens. The world breathes. Olympus trembles, not in fear, but in awe. The storm is no longer a threat, it is life. Zeus's voice echoes across the realms, deep and warm. At last, the storm remembers what it was meant to be. Lyron stands at the center, no longer burdened by destiny, but embraced by it. Kalen smiles, the weight in her eyes lifted. We did not conquer it, she says. We became it. And so they stand, not as wielders of power, but as keepers of balance, shepherds of the storm's eternal song. When they return to Olympus, the skies are clear, the winds gentle, the world renewed. The gods welcome them not as heroes, but as equals partners in the endless dance of creation. Lyron walks to the edge of the mountain and looks out over the horizon. The future is uncertain, but bright. The storm will rise again, as all storms do. But now, it will rise, in harmony, with the world it touches. He breathes deeply, the scent of rain and lightning still clinging to the air, and smiles. "This," he whispers, "is what the storm was always meant to be." And somewhere deep within the skies, thunder rolls softly, not as a warning, but as a promise. The age of the Stormfire has ended. The age of the Stormkeepers has begun. And in that beginning lies not an ending, but an eternal horizon where storm and soul are one.